Digestive System and Nutrition. By Brooke Crochet, Maya Washington, and Ray Makboul. This is a diagram of the digestive system. Here you notice the major parts of the digestive system: the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestines, liver, pancreas, and large intestines, plus a few extra organs like the gallbladder, rectum, and anus. Did you know you produce about 1.7 liters of saliva every day? The average esophagus is 25 centimeters in length. Muscles contract and relax to move food down the esophagus. Therefore, food would get to a person's stomach even if they were to be standing on their heads. Additional fun facts: the average human has over 400 different species of bacteria living in their colon. An adult female's small intestine is longer than an average adult male. The whole digestive tract is 29 feet, starting at the mouth and ending in the anus. Comparing digestive systems. The digestive system in humans is equivalent to the cecum in rodents, the crop, proventriculus, and gizzard in poultry, and the rumen found in cattle and deer. Monogastric digestive systems are found in hogs, dogs, and humans, while the avian digestive system is found in poultry. Working with other body systems. The circulatory system aids in the transportation of nutrients throughout the body and carries signals from the endocrine system that control the speed of digestion. The nervous system works with the receptors and muscles to provide the brain with information about body position and movement. Fun fact: the brain controls the contraction of skeletal muscle. The nervous system regulates the speed at which food moves through the digestive tract. For our last example, the respiratory system. The respiratory system gives oxygen to the digestive system. The two major functions of the digestive system are to digest the food intake and break it down in order to absorb the nutrients from the food. Digestion is important for breaking food into nutrients, which the body uses for energy, growth, and cell repair. Food gets broken down into carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and vitamins for absorption. Carbohydrates are the sugars, starches, and fiber found in many foods. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2010 suggest that most 65% of total daily calories come from carbohydrates. Proteins are commonly broken down into smaller molecules called amino acids. Amino acids are absorbed through the small intestines and delivered to the blood, which is then brought throughout the body. Functions of the digestive system. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2010 suggest that most 35% of total daily calories come from proteins. Fats are excellent sources for energy-rich molecules, while also aiding the body in the absorption of vitamins. During digestion, the body breaks down fat molecule to form fatty acids and glycerol. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2010 suggest that at most 35% of total daily calories come from fat. Vitamins are classified by the fluids in which they dissolve. The body stores fat-soluble vitamins in the liver and fatty acids, opposed to water-soluble vitamins that are flushed out by urine. Stages of the digestive system. The digestive system has 7 functions: ingestion, propulsion, secretion, mechanical digestion, chemical digestion, absorption, and defecation. Ingestion. Ingestion is the consumption of a substance by an organism. In animals, it is normally accomplished by taking in the substance through the mouth into the GI tract, usually by eating or drinking. Does anyone know how much food our population consumes per year? Propulsion. Propulsion is the forward movement of food along the GI tract. The major contributor in propulsion is peristalsis, smooth muscle contractions and relaxations that line the GI tract and move food along to different processing stages in the GI tract. Peristalsis begins in the esophagus when a bolus of food is swallowed. It takes approximately 7 seconds for food to travel from the mouth, down the esophagus, to the stomach. Secretion. Occurring in the pancreas, secretion is the digestive enzymes in the stomach acid that neutralizes bicarbonate, simply liquefying, adjusting, and chemically breaking down the food introduced during ingestion. The epithelial cells of the duodenum secrete a watery mucus. The liver produces bile, which is stored in the gallbladder before entering in the bile duct located in the duodenum. The liver has over 500 functions, one of which includes the ability to produce bile to break down digestive enzymes. Mechanical digestion. Mechanical digestion is the physical breakdown process of food into smaller molecules. The process begins when the bolus enters the mouth and continues with the muscular churning of the stomach. Additional churning occurs in the small intestines through muscular constriction of the intestinal wall. Chemical digestion. Chemical digestion is similar to mechanical digestion, but it is the chemical breakdown of food into small molecules, carried out by the enzymes in the stomach and small intestines. The goal is to break down the food into molecular components small enough to cross the plasma membrane. Absorption. Absorption is the passage of molecules from the GI tract to connect the blood and lymphatic vessels. Absorption is also the entrance of the digested food into the body officially. The digested food is now called nutrients. This process occurs in the liver. Defecation. The finale. Defecation is the combination of voluntary and involuntary processes with enough force to remove waste material from the digestive system through the anus. Triggered by stretching of wall, mediated by spinal cord parasympathetic reflex. The path food travels. The entire process begins in the mouth. Your teeth chew, grind, and break down food, and then the food passes down the throat to your esophagus. Next is the esophagus. It is located in the throat and uses peristalsis to deliver food to the stomach. Following is the stomach, which holds food and mechanically and chemically digests food. The food is turned into chyme, so it's easier for the body to digest it. Then moves to the small intestine, where it employs enzymes to digest food into even smaller chunks. The small intestine is made up by three parts: the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. The duodenum continues the digestive process, while the jejunum and the ileum ingest nutrients into the bloodstream. The path food travels. Now we have the pancreas, which secretes enzymes that break down protein, fats, and carbohydrates to the duodenum. The pancreas also makes insulin. The liver regulates the nutrients absorbed from the small intestine. The liver secretes bile that helps with the digestive processes. The liver is also responsible for some processes in the small intestine as well. Next is the gallbladder. The gallbladder stores bile and sends it to the duodenum to help with the digestive processes. The large intestine, including the colon, passes waste from the body. The muscular tube connects the small intestine to the rectum. Peristalsis is used to move stool through colon. The water is removed, then stool is emptied into the rectum. The path food travels. When stool is emptied into the rectum, sensors will notify the brain if the contents of the rectum can be released or not. The sphincters will either relax or contract. The waste moves to the anus to be extracted. The anus is made up of two sphincters and pelvic floor muscles. The upper anus lining signals whether the contents are gas, liquid, or solid. The sphincters help control the stool. The pelvic floor muscle prevents the stool from moving to the anus when it's not supposed to. Now we can take a closer look at the small intestines. It reeks up food, digests, and also helps the body absorb nutrients. It is a muscular tube and follows a twisted path within the abdomen. It measures approximately 20 feet in length. The small intestine consists of a total of 3 parts. The first part of the small intestine is the duodenum. It is located immediately after the stomach. It is the first part of the small intestine and the smallest of all parts. It receives partially digested food and prepares it for absorption. The walls of the duodenum consist of 4 layers of tissue intended to aid in digestion. It is roughly 10 inches and resembles a curved, hollow tube. The next part of the small intestine is the jejunum. After being increasingly broken down, food and nutrients are ready to be absorbed in the jejunum. Small projections in the wall of the jejunum allow for food absorption as well as an increase in the overall surface area of the jejunum. The ileum is the end of the small intestine. Located near the pelvic region, the ileum allows for the last spot of nutrient absorption. Compared to the jejunum, the ileum is thinner, with fewer blood vessels. Most importantly, the ileum allows for the absorption of the B12 vitamin into the blood capillaries. The anus. The end of the gastrointestinal (GI) tract. The anus is the opening that allows for the disposal of waste to leave the colon. A band of muscles surrounds the anus, forming the pelvic floor. Fascia is tough skin which surrounds the entirety of the anus and connects it to the body. A little more on the anus. The skin of the anus has a large network of veins underneath it. Circular muscles form the actual wall of the anus and hold it closed. Finally, contractions of the abdomen help create abdominal pressure, allowing for the muscles to respond by opening. Hemorrhoids occur when blood vessels at the end of one's digestive tract inflame. Symptoms may include constipation, diarrhea, itching, and bleeding, and lack of fiber. For treatment, doctors suggest exercise, drinking lots of water, and adding more fiber to your diet. Crohn's disease mainly affects the ileum, or the end of the small bowel, and the start of the colon. Symptoms of this disease include persistent diarrhea, constipation, rectal bleeding, and abdominal cramps. This chronic disease may lead to small tears in the intestine, which can cause pain and bleeding in stool. Colon cancer is malignant tumor arising from the inner wall of the large intestines. Colorectal cancer starts when the process of the normal replacement of lining cells goes awry. Diagnosis of colorectal cancer can be done by colonoscopy along with biopsy confirmation from cancer tissues. Chemotherapy can extend and improve the life expectancy. Excluding skin cancers, colon and colorectal cancer are the third most diagnosed cancers in men and fourth most dangerous in women in the United States. Nutrition requirements. Healthy nutrition aims to achieve and maintain a desirable body composition and high potential for physical and mental work, UDEM, MD, FICF. Adequate fluid intake is essential. For example, fats should be less than or equal to 30%, while saturated fats and trans fatty acids should contain at least 10%. Generally, the suggested nutrition intake decreases as age increases because physical activity decreases, which leads to the less energy being expended. Nutrition requirements, cont'd. Over the last millennium, Americans have gone from eating whole, normal, home-cooked meals to the new common standard American diet, also known as SAD. Improving the situation simply suggests eating more fruits and veggies, while also removing the extra sugars and starches from your diet. Unrefined foods, fruits, veggies, grains provide exceptional numbers of antioxidants and nutrients. These foods are also nutrient-dense unlike foods of SAD. SAD foods are overprocessed simple carbohydrates and refined sugars, leading to chronic diseases, obesity, and death. Governmental Regulation, use. Through the Healthy, Hunger-Free Act championed by the First Lady and signed by President Obama, USDA made the first major changes to school meals in 15 years in hopes of raising a healthier generation. The new regulations, effective as of 2012, demanded the presence of more fruits, vegetables, and whole grains and the withdrawal of sodium, calories, and unhealthy fat. The Food and Drug Act of 1906 was passed in the United States to prevent the manufacturing, sale, and transportation of misbranded or poisonous food, drugs, medicines, and liquor. Governmental regulations, international. Countries, for example Australia, Canada, Chile, Guatemala, Hong Kong, and the United States, all enforce policy actions requiring it mandatory for nutrient lists to be present on packaged foods. Other countries follow the guideline CAG/GL2-1985 requiring nutrient labels only when a nutrition or health claim is made and/or on foods with special dietary uses. The action entails producers and retailers are required by law to provide a list of the nutrient content of pre-packaged food products, even in the absence of nutrition or health claims.